I'm from Temple of Balance, and this is our personal healing event for some of my Temple of Balance patrons for August 2022. So thank you so much to all of my patrons this month. So we have 5 people on the list today. I've got you, I bought my little teacup that I do tea leaf readings with for a local gentleman who requested a tea leaf reading. So we did one yesterday. So I'm using this little cup. I've popped all your names in here and I'll pull you out of the cup soon. So we'll do that shortly. So welcome. It's so lovely to see you. So let me know if you are watching. So I'm coming to you from a different background. I'm at the tail end of an art residency in an old town called Oatlands in Tasmania, Australia. This house was built in the 1830s. So it's very old wallpaper, kind of water stained, and I'm working out there. That's my art studio, kind of public art studio space where I'm painting. In fact, you can see the back of some painting there in the background. Probably I'll do a tour of it on the weekend, most likely. So let's see what we need to, or what's coming up for the people I'm connecting with today. So what I'll be doing is I'll be pulling your name out of the cup and then I'll be pulling a healing energy card for you. So we'll talk about that a little bit or a lot, I don't know. It just depends on the energy at the time. And then I'll tune into your energy and I'll spend probably 10 to 15 minutes focused on you. So what I'm looking at, or what I'm really drawn to when I connect with you, is what's loudest in your energy. So what's loudest in your vibration is going to get my attention first. Morning, Jane. Thanks for stopping by. So whatever's loudest in your energy space is going to get my attention first. So then I will interpret what I'm picking up and communicate that with you. I'll probably have my eyes closed a fair bit, or be looking down, because that just helps me stay focused rather than looking up here and seeing myself. It's a bit of a distraction. It's just part of my tuning in if you find me closing my eyes. So then I'll talk through what happens. If anything seems amiss, then I'll run energy or do things that we need to do to help you get back into balance, if you like. And then I'll pull a card to finish up that connection with you. And then I'll move on to the next person. So you can't be added to the list now. The list is complete from the people who have already registered this month. So there's 5 people on the list to be a part of this. It's by being a member of my Patreon, Temple of Balance on Patreon. The link's below, at the $50 level or higher for August. And you can come in for 1 month. Some people pop in and do this connection for the month of their birthday, for example. Hi, Marianne. Lovely to see you. So sometimes they connect for the month of their birthday. Sometimes people stay for the whole year or just pop in every now and then. So, it's your choice about how you want to do that. Oh, okay, Jane, I'll have a look. I haven't got anything through yet. So I think I suppose before I start, like, how do I connect? It's kind of a bit tricky to explain. But for me, the way that works for me, how do I tune in? How do I connect with you if you're on my list today? Is I know my energy really well. So I know how things are for me. I know the layout and the configuration of my energy. So when I'm tuning into someone, by holding that intention, pulling a card, all those things help me start that connection. When I tune in that way, I start becoming aware of things happening in my body that are not my feelings and are not the way I am configured and feel. So I am very sensitive to those subtle shifts in my own body. And I have visuals as well, and senses. I sense things visually, but when I'm sensing through feeling, I'm feeling it really through my body. Then I'd have to trust what I'm feeling, and then over the years I've learned how to find words to describe that feeling, and that took quite a few years to develop. So it's more of a practice and experience thing. It's nothing special about me. I feel like we can all connect if we want to and if we're open to it. So I trust that makes some sense. So if you're not on the list today or you're waiting for your turn, I'm sure it's no accident you happen to be here. So what I would be doing if I was listening and waiting for my turn, or if I was listening and not on the list, I'll be listening with my body, my ears, my heart, to the things that really speak personally to me. I'm sure it's no accident that you happen to be here now. So let's see who's first today. The first person is this person, and it's KantiDevi Wedad. Where can I put you? I've got the tripod here balanced on an easel. They've got easels here everywhere, which is fantastic. I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 easels not in use, and I've got about 6 or 8 in use out there. So it's quite amazing having so many easels. It's like an artist's dream. So let's see what you need, Kanti. So please take a nice big breath, and let's see which cards you need today. Okay, so I've got this card for you, Kanti, here. This one, it's called Break the Spell. Break the Spell, card 73. Let's read what it says. This is a new card. It says, unbinding contracts, obligations and promises once made. Release from the narcissist, waking up, a realization of living a lie, influence and truth. So this is a bit of a potent card, isn't it? It feels a bit like being a bit spellbound somehow. So that's interesting. Okay, Kanti, I'm putting that aside and let's now tune in. So take a nice big breath for me. Okay. Okay, so I'm seeing straight away right in front of you is a ladder, and this is an old looking ladder. So it's timber and old style. It's not metal or anything, but it's a wooden ladder, very neat and very strong in its form and its foundation and its build is the feeling. And this ladder is literally right here, like we could just go like this and be at the ladder. So it's literally about a foot away from the front of your body. And I feel this ladder, it feels anchored into the ground, like there are holes or anchor points that this ladder has anchored into. And you're being encouraged to take this adjustment, this detour, if you like, this new level of your path that's calling you. In fact, we can't really mistake or go around this ladder. I mean, we could sort of side shuffle and ignore it and keep going forward, but there is this sense that it's just very loud right here, right in front of you. So the only way to go really that I can feel is up. The only way to go from here is up. And so what I feel like I want to encourage you to do now is to start climbing. Just start climbing. Let go of all your hesitations and your resistances and your fear. And I can feel as you're starting to take these steps up this ladder, it's like all this debris, all this crumbly, gravelly rock, small pieces of rock, very crumbly and dry, is dropping away from the back of your head all the way down your back. So as you walk or climb up this ladder, just sort of slowly at this point, all this energy is just crumbling away from you at the back. Now, crumbling energy, it feels dry, so it feels very mental related. So it's probably more connected with your self-belief or your doubt or your fear or your hesitation, your own limitations mentally that are dropping away now as you take the plunge and take the steps that you need to take to lift up to the next level in your life. It's a bit like Jack in the Beanstalk, I feel, sort of feeling here, as Jack sort of climbs the beanstalk and gets up to another land or another plateau higher up here. And that's where I feel you're going. So you move up, it's about 20 runs up the ladder, and you get up to the top and you're like Jack at the top of the beanstalk, and you're now at this new level of your path is the feeling. This new level has risen you up into truth, further into truth. So it's like a new level of truth I feel that you're accessing up here as your path now continues. Now it's funny because I feel like I'm still down here on the ground looking up and pointing up at you at the top of the ladder, and your path continuing up there. I can sense it's up there. I haven't traveled up with you for some reason. So I just trust that that's the way it needs to be. So up here on the top, it's like a plateau. It's like barren ground in some ways. It feels a bit lifeless up here, like it's a barren place. There's not much life. It feels a bit bare and barren, but also this sense that the things that were familiar to you, even some people that were familiar to you, are not up there. It's like just a place for you. So I don't know if you're coming back down or if you're up there learning, but I get this sense that your path continues from that place where you are. So there's a sense here that there's somewhere or somehow that you find yourself maybe feeling a little bit maybe withdrawn, might be a good word to use, perhaps a little isolated, maybe alone, but I doubt it. But there's this feeling of you being up there on your own and figuring things out in a new way, in a new land, and a new landscape for yourself up here. And I feel like this is taking you not only in new levels in your physical life, but I feel like this is a very mental, a mental growth, a mental achievement, a mental lifting up to that next level on a mental level. So this is how to work better with your mind, your focus, your determination, your willpower, your ability to choose, this sort of thing, your choice, your common sense as well, and your ability to be rational and sensible, but also trusting, or mixing that with the trusting in your intuition and your flow. So this feels like, a very mental kind of climb up here. And it's interesting, this card, break the spell. So I feel like this is very mental, isn't it? Unbinding contracts, obligations and promises once made. Waking up. Stepping out of the lie, but even though that doesn't quite feel quite right for you, Kanti, but realization of perhaps the truth or a higher plan for yourself. And I really like those words, this higher plan, this higher path, on a mental truth kind of level. So I trust that resonates, Kanti. Let's see which card we need to add here to finish this off. So nice big breath, and we finish this off with this card. The best card is this here. The turning point. Andrea, good morning. The turning point is how we're tying this up for you, Kanti. And this is really interesting, card 76, and it's rise. Break the spell is in rise as well. And we've just risen up the ladder. So the turning point, let's read it. It's a new card as well. This is interesting. A new direction. The time has come. Out of your comfort zone. Turn things around. Make changes. And contemplate your current direction. So we've just shifted directions for you and really lifted the bar, lifted your energy, especially mentally, up to that next level. So maybe this is a turning point for you, Kanti. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, Kanti, and thank you for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's pop these cards back and see who's next. Who's next? Okay, next person is this person. Next is Amanda Sanders. Amanda, welcome. Take a nice big breath and let's see which healing energy card you need. Okay, so the first thing I'm picking up straight away, just as I tune into your name and prepare, is a pressure that's coming in across the back, but especially the upper part of the back, so across the top of the shoulders. And it feels really heavy through here. So take some nice big breaths, because we'll most likely be removing that. It's supposed to snow today, but oh, I think there might be a little bit of snow happening now. I think it does look quite snowy, if you ask me. Keep my eye on that as we go. Okay, so Amanda. It was a nice distraction, wasn't it? Nice distraction from the burdens and looking out to a bit of snow. Okay, it's not properly snowing yet, so I'll definitely turn the camera around if it changes. Okay, so traditions is your card, Amanda, to start with. It's card 81. It's in the action category. And down here it says endurance, wisdom gained, maturity, knowledge, research, elders, the patriarch, learning from the past, passing of knowledge and values, stories and sharing. So this is very much the old sort of patriarch energy, which has its place in the world. And it feels like this energy is coming through really strong, like giving you roots maybe from your ancestry, roots from your past, even roots that you've planted in the location of wherever it is that you're living and your history there, or your history where you come from as far as the land. So there is something very strong about roots that are going in the ground for you, Amanda. And these roots, I feel there's a lot of them. So it doesn't feel like, like a big tree root or something. It feels like a variety, a group of, like a bunch of almost like finger width roots that taper as they sort of move down into the ground. And there's a bunch of them, like if we picked a bunch of flowers. We picked a bunch of flowers and they were sort of stuck at the bottom of your feet. So these kind of finger width roots, bunches of them going down out of the soles of your feet and into the ground. So even though they come out from a kind of a centered or a focused or a kind of group, they spread out as they go down into the earth. So the further they go down, the more they spread out. And I feel like they're creating this solid foundation for you, this solid groundedness, especially into the earth, but into who you are and the history of who you are, if that makes sense. The journey of who you are, from who you are now, from all of the stories and all of the things that have happened even before you were born in this earth, and that all still being carried down or being carried through for you into this moment. So you are more than just whatever it is that you're going through, especially burden-wise at this time, that there is something deeper that runs through you and through your blood and through the earth and wherever it is that you stand than you might realize at this time. So I feel like in some ways it's a perspective thing, because I feel like sometimes we get so kind of bogged down with the stuff that we've got going on, and sometimes those things are quite serious that we're dealing with. But sometimes it's helpful to step back and look at the longer term, the bigger picture, the longer journey, the longer path of how things have happened or how things have evolved and traveled for us. So as I'm talking about this, I can feel this energy here at the top of your shoulders. It's very heavy and almost like it's wanting to pull you down. So it feels very weighted, this energy, like lead, like you've got a couple of trays of lead sitting on the top of your shoulders and really wanting to pull you down. So these represent your burdens that you've been carrying and that you are carrying at this time, and the weight of that, almost like you have the weight of the world on your shoulders and the weight of added responsibility and responsibilities and obligations. And it's really moving this energy here across the top of the neck or the top of the shoulders here, the top of the back, I mean to say. So there's energy moving and I feel like you're getting ready to release, but we don't want to release yet because I can feel energy now moving in your throat, and it's almost like a screwdriver or something that's screwing into your throat very deeply, like a drill, like a drill or a screwdriver that's kind of just screwing in and drilling in here into your throat very, very deeply. So your throat's your center for communication, expression and truth, and feeling safe to be who you are. So there's a feeling here of being this drilling energy moving in there, so it feels quite painful, and it also feels no, Beth, I'm not sure. I'm just connecting here with a person here on my healing list, but just see if this resonates with you, then take what you need from this experience. It feels also like your throat chakra is covered over, so a bit like a keyhole, like an old keyhole where you'd put the key in, but some of them, it's okay, that's fine. Some of the old keyholes have like a flap that you, like a little cover that you pull across and then you put the key in. So it feels like a flap like that, like a little cover over a keyhole is covering up your throat as well. So not only does it feel like there's something deeply penetrating here and deeply shifting, but also it feels like a covering over your throat chakra. So let's start by taking this covering off, dropping it down to the ground where it returns back to love. And this is shifting a lot of energy and bringing a lot of stuff that's been squished back in there out. It's bringing something that's squished in there out. So it's a bit like, squishing in something. Oh, my nose is itchy. Squishing in something mushy into the keyhole, and then you take the covering of the keyhole off and out comes like slime or something. So it feels like this energy is really, it feels a bit mucusy, that's wanting to come out of your throat chakra, and it feels like it's been squashed in there. So perhaps unspoken words or an uncertainty about your truth and who you are. So just letting that sort of come out like sausages coming out of the sausage machine, this sort of thing. So just letting that release and letting that move. Now, as that's releasing that drilling energy, which feels like it's connected here, that's stopped since we removed the covering and have left that, allowed this to sort of free and move. So just allowing the last of this kind of slimy, mucusy energy to move out of your throat. And with that now, we can shift this burden that you've been carrying. So you might find too that you've been really sensitive lately and maybe taking things quite personally. There is a sense of hypersensitivity. So now just allowing these trays of ledge that have been sitting here over your shoulders, allowing those to drop back and drop down to the earth where they return back to love. And here straight away there is this feeling of peace that's coming in, like a blanket of peace that's coming in from above and coming in over your body, almost like a blanket, a really warm, soft blanket is coming in and being wrapped around your shoulders, your throat, your heart. And this also allows your roots to now go stronger and stronger into the ground. So there's a strengthening here of your roots. And I feel like if you're not sure at the moment what to do or where to focus on, I feel like focusing on these roots of yours would be really important and quite valuable, Amanda. So see how you go and see where your roots take you. So it could be exploring family stuff. It could be looking at the past or looking at the land of where you find yourself now. What's the history of it, or what can you learn from it? So this sort of thing feels quite enticing. So thanks, Amanda. Let's see which card here we want to add here to finish this up. So the best card to finish up this connection for you, Amanda, is this card here. How beautiful. Card 11, Awakening. It's in the Rise category, so lifting up out of that heavy, burdensome energy. And down here it says, it's time to open up and move forward towards the unknown. New beginnings are birthing. A new awakening is emerging. Transformation. Yeah, so this is an awakening within you, but especially I feel within your throat. So within your truth and the way you communicate and the way you express yourself, and really getting to know yourself through communication and truth. But this is about getting to know you, the roots of you. Who are you? And this feels like an awakening in itself. So I feel like a new level of discovery, a new level of research in some ways, a new level of connecting with your roots, connecting with your truth. So that's beautiful. Thanks, Amanda. I trust this resonates and supports you, and thank you so much for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's pop these cards back. Check on the snow. There's certainly no snow settling. I'd say it's quite cold outside. And there's no real sort of flakes. But you know, sometimes when the rain looks like a little snowy, oh, I now see some snowflakes. It is snowing. How exciting. Little fine snowflakes. Okay, the next person is this person. It's Carol White. Carol, welcome. Take a nice big breath and let's see what you need for today. So we'll first of all just see which card is best for you. Okay, so I'm really being drawn to your feet at the moment. Feel a bit numb actually, especially the right one. So let's just grab this card and then we'll connect and see. So this is your card here. Illusion, card 32. It's in the neutral category. And it says, turn your inner truth detector on. Pause to check in. Pause to check if this situation is untrue to your heart or illusionary. Perception, choice, aware, trust, and no distraction. So there's an enticement here. There's something here enticing you from the future, enticing you now. It's holding this rose and it's enticing you forward. And you're being encouraged to be aware that you're not being distracted by the distorted mirrors that are trying to get your attention here to the side. So make sure you're focused on where you're going moving forward. Stay focused on the path and your goals, your plans, or wherever it is you're going. It could be a daily sort of focus or something more long term. And try not to let these distorting mirrors distract you from your path. That's what I'm feeling with this card very strongly. Okay, so I'm still being drawn back down to your feet here, Carol, and they feel cold and they feel numb and they feel almost like they're off the ground. So almost like I can feel that there is space between the ground and the bottom of your feet. So there's space here. So in some ways it feels in this moment there's a little bit of an ungrounded feeling. So straight away I imagine that I'm pushing you down from your shoulders here and just pushing you down onto the ground. So there's not that air in between the ground and your feet, but your feet are now solid on the ground. And so with your feet solid on the ground, your feet seem to spread out so that more of your bottom of your foot is on the ground. So it's a bit like, I suppose, if you're a jellyfish or something and the jellyfish swimming's, quite full, but when the jellyfish is on the ground, it kind of sinks into the ground a little bit. So it feels a little bit like that with your feet. So your feet are spreading out and getting more traction, more connection with the ground. So not physically, but energetically. So to help you stay connected to the ground and connected to where you are now in your life. So grounding connects you with your body, connects you with the here and now. It connects you with your current environment, your current surroundings. And sometimes if we're kind of being enticed forward, it can be very ungrounding if we're not sort of careful, because the enticement of the dream or the enticement of the goal or whatever it might be that's in the future can unground us. So I feel like this right now is just giving you a moment to pause and stop and reground and reconnect with the earth, with your body, with this particular moment. So as you're grounding yourself, because as I'm talking, I feel this groundedness becoming stronger. I feel your energy, like your body, almost shrinking a little bit as you're becoming more grounded. It's quite normal to feel like you're sort of shrinking down, or your body's becoming filled with lead, sort of feeling like you're being really locked into the earth and locked into this present moment. So take a nice big breath and just feel that connection that you have with your feet, your body, your breath, and the ground beneath you. So whether you've got shoes on, wherever you are now, feel the solidness of the earth under your feet. So with this too, it's locking in your hips. Your hips are being locked into the ground, so being really grounded in your actions and your plans and your movements in life. So it's almost like a pause, actually, pausing you, just sort of locking you back into this present moment. So you don't get too far ahead of yourself, but just stay very present. So this is just the strongest thing. So let's see if there's other things here that we need to talk about. So I feel like your path ahead is straight. So there's nothing to really concern yourself about moving ahead, even though you might not have the details now. I see your path is straight. So just keep yourself grounded. Keep enjoying these moments that you have, even though it's not really where you want to be, but just make the most of these moments and of this time and of this connection, of your body, of the people around you, of the things that you are experiencing now, because before too long, things are going to be changing. And even though that's going to be a good thing, I feel like there are still lots of things that you can enjoy and learn and embrace about this moment and this particular time. So let's grab a card and see what this wants to add here for you, Carol. So keep focused on the prize of sort of where you're going, of the enticement, but don't be distracted by the distorted mirrors. So that's interesting, isn't it, in regards to the grounding energy that's coming through. So the best card to add here is this here. Oh, I love this. I love this card. It's card 108. So this is interesting. It's called Plan, Reach and Listen. And this was inspired by healing retreat, healing marathon that we did a couple of years ago, where the words plan, reach and listen came in very strongly. It's in the depth category. And down here it says to make time to prioritize stamina to keep going, your focus and holding position. In fact, there's something very grounding here, isn't there, about this card? Even though she's sort of looking ahead, she's not losing herself in where she's going. In fact, it's interesting, I hadn't noticed before, but her eyes are almost exactly on this line. So she's got her eyes focused. She knows that she's going in the right direction. She's been pulled there, but she's very anchored in the here and now. So she's not losing herself in the pull forward into the future. So stamina, focus, holding position, organize, reach out for help, pay attention. Everything is connected together and influence. So in other words, simple terms, plan, so organizing things without getting too far ahead as best as you can. Reach forward and sort of there's this feeling of striving for something new and something big and something better than before. And really listen. So as you're grounded, you're listening and you're paying attention to the subtle signs that are guiding you here or encouraging you to go there or to call someone or whatever you might need to do. So plan, reach and listen. I trust this resonates with you, Carol. Thanks so much for your support and for allowing me to connect with you today. Namaste. Okay, let's pop these back. So we've got 2 more people on the list. Let's see who's next. Who's next? Next person is this person, and it's Andrea Stuart. So Andrea, I don't know if you're still here. It's exciting to be connecting with people here because usually people connect in later. So Andrea, nice big breath. Let's see which card you need to begin with. Okay, so the first thing I'm feeling, excellent. Welcome, Andrea. The first thing I'm feeling is a painful energy in your right shoulder blade here. So your right side is about forward movement, but the back of the body tends to be about the past. And so, yeah, the shoulder blade, the right shoulder blade energetically is quite sore with a dull kind of ache. Your card is this, card 88, the cleanup. It's in the rise category. And the cleanup, this card says, prepare to rebuild your life. Clean, purge, sort out, clear the clutter, grief, sadness, loss, make room for new things, physical labour and commitment. So this feels quite exciting actually, this rebuilding energy, this cleaning energy, this clearing things out, this the physical activities that's required to clear and clean things out to allow yourself to move into this kind of new phase or this new part of your life. Whether you're going anywhere physically or not is kind of irrelevant, because I feel wherever you're at the moment, Andrea, maybe you've already been feeling this pull to do maybe a big spring clean or get some physical things happening where you're physically doing the tasks will help clear out the clutter and make some new room in your life to help you rebuild some things. So as I'm talking about this, I can feel this ache in the right shoulder blade. It's really deep in there. It's almost at the back of the heart. Like it's really quite deep. I can feel that already start to shift and lighten. And I feel this sense like I want to get out with the right arm and reach out and pick things up and do things with my right hand. So I feel like there's a lot of action and a lot of energy that wants to move through physical activity, and especially using your hands and your arms. So as you do that too, that will help loosen this energy here at the back of your shoulder blade. So it does feel like it needs to be loosened because the energy feels tight and it feels like this dull ache, like, how could I describe it? It feels like lots of little particles coming together. Like lots of little particles, like when you have a magnet and you have all the iron filings, I think they call them, or the iron shavings or something, and they're all just sort of spread out on this tray, and then you get the magnet and you put the magnet underneath and all the iron filings just kind of accumulate here above the magnet. And that's the feeling here in this right shoulder blade, like things have accumulated, things have gathered, things have collected, things have kind of bound up here a bit. It feels a bit tangly, but a big collection of things. So I actually feel like I want to take the energy of, say, the magnet, the thing that's been keeping these things all bound up. I want to take this magnet sort of energy away. Now, I can't feel a magnet kind of thing anywhere, but I feel like there's something that has drawn these parts together, drawn all these little filings, all these little issues, all these little things together somehow, like that analogy of the magnet. So let's just have a feeling here and see what needs to be done. Okay, so I feel things have collected in this little pocket of space here at the back of your right shoulder blade, very deep down. So it's like a space here and things have gathered. So I feel like if I imagine this now, it feels like a little room, like a cellar or something, like a small little room that's sort of tucked away, and most people visiting a house might not even know it exists, but it's just like a tucked away room. That's what this feels like. Things tucked away, squirreled away in the cupboard behind the cupboard, that sort of thing. So at the bottom of this little room, which looks a bit like a cellar or the cupboard behind the cupboard, there is this opening underneath, and I feel like here we can pull these things out. So underneath the cellar sort of energy is like a little trapdoor. And in this trapdoor, which feels like it just sits just underneath your shoulder blade, there's a little trapdoor, and I feel, and there's energy shifting here in your throat as well. So there's throat energy moving, connection with truth, communication, as we prepare to open this trapdoor. Things are getting pretty uncomfortable, actually. There feels to be a bit of resistance here, and this feels quite confronting. So I feel a bit short of breath. I'm starting to feel a bit sick in the belly. So this is old energy or emotional energy that also wants to move up. I feel like in some ways this is stuff that you've stored very privately over a long period of time. And it's got an emotional connection. It's certainly got a connection with suppression as well, and not really being able to be yourself or do the things that you really want to do. And I feel like there's something something with that that's really important, Andrea. So things that you've really wanted to do that have been met with blocks and barriers and locked doors have been wearing you down, and it almost feels like this grinding down, this wearing down feeling over time. And this, how I'm seeing it energetically too, is not just a wearing down, but this accumulation of sort of pent up energy that's storing in this spot. So as I'm talking about this, the energy's moving more. The sickly feeling in the belly is a really good sign, because it shows me you've got emotional energy down there that wants to move and it wants to be released, because that emotional energy just wants to be expressed and released out in some way. So with that being drawn back to your shoulder, we're going to pull the trapdoor open. So it now looks a bit like those old wooden pencil cases where you slide the top off. Usually grandfather made this old pencil case or something, you know, really old style, the wooden pencil case box sort of thing, and they slid the top off. Well, that's what I feel like we're doing, but at the bottom of this kind of room, this cellar, this cupboard behind the cupboard, here at your right shoulder blade. So we're like pulling the wooden door, pulling the trap door away, and just letting it all now drop out. And it does drop out because we've just removed the bottom of this cellar or this cupboard behind the cupboard, and everything, all the contents are now just dropping out. They're spewing out just very quickly. It's muddy, it's wet, it's damp. There's bits of debris, so like physical things tangled up in all the mud. So it feels very wet, very emotional energy, but also very much stored with things or things that have happened in your life. So this is all just sort of spewing out. It's not unlike vomit, really, as disgusting as that sounds, but that's a little bit like how it is. And it's just sort of oozing out here at the bottom of your right shoulder blade, going down your body and dropping down to the earth where it returns back to love. And now I just want to sort of hose this area out. So I stick up, it looks like a hose or some sort of attachment with water or this liquid energy, this clean energy, and just kind of clean out. It's like having a really gross garbage bin that's got all yucky stuff in it. So you hose it out. That's what I feel like we're doing. We're hosing out all the last bits of the rubbish and the debris that you've been storing in here, and letting that now go, and just let it return back to love. And already this area is feeling so much better. So I want to close that trap door, but I don't feel really comfortable doing that. So I'm actually wondering if we should just take this door off. Yeah, we're just going to take the door off, like just removing the whole top of that wooden pencil case, taking it off, dropping that down as well, so that you don't feel that you have to store things inside, that you find a way to express and communicate and get that out somehow, whether it's talking or something creative or cleaning or whatever, to get that energy moving. So this is already feeling better. Your throat is settling here. I don't feel that nauseous feeling in your belly anymore. So we've just released all that emotion, and now just allowing things to settle. Okay, Andrea, let's grab a card here just to see what this wants to add. So the best card to add here at this point is this here. It's this Time Tunnels, card 17. It's in the action category. So this is talking about the past. It says lessons from the past to unlock the future, the potential future, karmic healing, fear of the unknown, give yourself time to heal, courage, wisdom, and freedom. So this is very much about your timeline. It's about the past, unlocking the past, or shifting the past to unlock your potential future. So it's the timeline, not only where you stand now on that timeline, but how connected it all is, the past, the present, the future. And actually things that hold you back in the past can actually also hold you back in the future. So it's this timeline, past, present, future, that's really getting your attention, or getting my attention for you, if you haven't been feeling it, Andrea, to maybe think about, or if it's important for you to think about where you feel tied down from the past, the things that didn't happen in the past, the traumatic things from the past that you're still holding on to, that are affecting where you're potentially going forward. And maybe using this cleanup time, if this resonates with you, this cleanup time to also really think about deeply unpinning yourself from the past holding you back. You can't change the past, but you can change how the past affects you today, and then affects potentially where you're going to take yourself in the future. So I feel that there's a link here, or a key here, in going back, unpinning the pain of the past to free you up today, that will free you up moving forward into the future. So time tunnels, don't be afraid to look at the past. And you've got the 8 there, haven't you? 1 and 7 is 8, and you've got the 88 here. So the 8s feel really strong for you, Andrea. Thanks so much for allowing me to connect with you, and I do trust this resonates and supports you. Thanks, Andrea. Thank you. Namaste. Okay, so let's pop these cards back, and we've got lucky last here is Susan. Susan Sonsteng. Welcome, Susan. Let's see what's loudest in your vibration today and what you need. Thank you everyone for joining me today. If you would love to be a part of this connection next month, please have a look on my Patreon page. The link is in the comments, and it's the $50 level or higher will give you access to this healing event, plus all the other things that run before it. So Pillar of Light membership, other healing events, meditation, things like this. So please have a look if you're interested. You can stop anytime. You can just come along one time, see what it's like, or whatever you want to do. So the best card for you, Susan, as we connect. Whew, I'm feeling a heavy feeling in the belly. The best card is this. Here. Ooh. Remove the mask. Card 99. Oh, isn't it cool having card 99? Remove the mask. It's in the depth category, and this is quite confronting, very powerful, potent energy. It says reveal the truth, uncovered, stop masking, real, don't pretend or distract yourself, be honest, deep healing, true power emerging, and show yourself. So there's something very deeply moving, and it does feel a bit like a serpent that's moving very deep here in your sacral chakra, deep down in your belly. So your sacral chakra is just below your navel. It's your center for emotional, sexual, and creative energy. And it feels like there's this serpent kind of just circling here, deep down in your belly, like it's looking for a way out. It feels trapped in here, like it's in a cage or it's in a small little box or something that is trapped. But it feels circular because it just keeps sort of slithering around in a circle. It feels like the longer it's down here, the more agitated it's getting. And it's a little bit like that with old emotion that we store. The longer we store it and ignore it, the scarier and the bigger it can tend to feel, especially at the beginning. And then when we confront that fear that it brings, then things kind of settle. So it feels like something really potent is brewing down here. And it feels quite uncomfortable, quite heavy, and quite trapped in some ways. The lower back is also getting my attention here for you, Susan. So this is connected with old emotions from the past. And you also have a shifting energy that's happening here in the throat. So there's more energy that's shifting here, but this feels different. It feels like it's a bit higher up than the previous connections I've had with throat energy moving. And it feels like it wants to come out. So it's a bit like, you know, the serpent wants to come out, wants to move out of here. It wants to move out of here. And now the throat's getting very, very itchy and very tingly through here. So the energy of this serpent and what this represents, maybe your fear, but it feels like deep emotion. It wants to come up. It wants to escape. It wants to be released. It wants to be untrapped. And then it's going to rise up and move out through your throat. I can feel that that's what's going to happen. But we're not quite ready yet. So let's move back down into here. So I feel this box. It's a round box, like a cake box, let's say. And it feels like it's sitting over your hips. So there's a hip connection. And I feel like this energy here, this potent energy, is potentially stopping you from moving as much as you would like to be in your life. And I feel like I just want to lift the lid on this box. This snake, this serpent is getting more agitated as each moment passes. I don't know how long it's been there, but because there's a connection here with the lower back and energy moving here, it tells me that it could be quite old emotion, but it feels very tender back here in your lower back as well, almost down to your tailbone, but not quite. So it's almost down at your tailbone. So we can now almost, pretty much connect in this base chakra too with it, which is your center for survival. So surviving, your physicality, that sort of thing. So something very physical too that's perhaps happened that has stored or trapped this energy inside. And it's probably been quite happy to sort of sit there and sleep and whatever for quite a long time. But I feel like you've reached a point now, Susan, where this energy is ready to be released, where it's actually holding you back. So just moving this energy here in your lower back down close to your tailbone, that feels really super tender. And I'm getting ready to lift the box of this serpent to let it free, let it escape, let it go, because it does feel very trapped. And like I say, every passing moment it's getting more agitated and more frustrated and more angry because its own survival is being threatened. If this was a snake or an animal that was trapped in here, like it's running out of oxygen, it can't eat, it's trapped in here. So the longer this happens, the more agitated they naturally are, because their survival is on the line here. And there's only so long you can go without air or food before you pass away. So it's survival is questioned. So this is probably connected here too with you, Susan. So I want to lift up the lid of this box. So it feels like a cake box, round, and it's white and it's got red strips around it. So the red is again connecting with the base chakra. So it's talking about things connected with your survival, your physicality. And the energy is really wanting to push up through the throat. So let's just do this now. There's no more time to waste. My voice is changing and I feel something very deep resonating in here. Why my light went off because my laptop went into sleep mode. Okay, so let's take off this box. It's got a big red bow on top. And sorry, I think I was a bit loud there, but it's got a big red bow, so there's actually a gift. There's a gift in this. There's a gift in this revelation. There's a gift in this release. And so I just grab this huge big red bow, lift it off, and the serpent escapes. So it escapes up through your body, up through your spine, very quickly, lifting up through your throat and out through your mouth. And here it extends itself. Its full self out, its tail leaves your throat and it drops to the earth and it slithers away off to the right. It feels to the front and the right and it leaves and it doesn't return. So it's gone. Whatever this is that's been suppressed under here has been removed. Okay, there we go. Okay, and things are feeling so much better just down in your sacral chakra. So things feel like there's space and room here again. There's still energy moving here in your throat. So let's bring in some energy in here. Let's bring in some nice greeny blue turquoise light. And it feels like a cloud, but not a bit like a misty cloud. So it's a little bit more tangible than a cloud. And we're just scooping it down in here and filling up your whole throat and your mouth with this turquoise blue green energy. And it fills up in here and then it starts dripping and trickling down your spine and down into that space where this box was, where this serpent was being held. Your lower back feels so much better now, so I don't feel any tenderness here. And I feel a lot of energy still quite tingly through the spine. So I feel like something has sort of activated here in your spine as well, and certainly activated here within your throat. So I trust this resonates, Susan. Let's see which card we want to add here. So the best card to add to finish this off for you is, let's grab this card here. Okay, it's this. Oh, self-confrontation, card 42. It's in the depth category. And down here it says, have courage to look in the mirror. And you know, I could probably almost stop there just with those first two words, have courage, because I feel like that is super important. The courage to face new things, the courage to face your life, the courage to keep going. So that in itself feels like if I stopped right there, then that would be enough. Have courage. But let's continue just to see how this feels. Have courage to look in the mirror. Come out of hiding. Care about how you feel. Stop holding back. Face off. Now that's interesting because your other card here says remove the mask. So remove the mask, and this is talking about taking your face off, meaning the mask that you've put over your face. Stop holding back. Create a new safe zone and honesty. So there might be especially important for you, Susan, to look at what you might be hiding or what you might be covering, what you might be wearing, like a mask or costume or something, and in some ways pretending or not being able to be who you truly are. Why do you have to do that, and how can you confront that energy? Are you happy to keep doing it is probably something to ask yourself. And if you're not, how can you confront that energy and figure out what the truth is underneath and what you need to do to remove that mask, to shift out of that that hiding back, that holding back energy. So simply though, have courage. So thank you, Susan. Thank you so much. Thanks for your support. And I trust this has supported you. Namaste. Okay, so thank you so much everyone for being here, and I trust you've enjoyed this time that we've spent together. Thanks, Jane. Thank you, everybody. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll be back to share with you again sometime soon. So take care of yourself. And goodbye for now.